Hey everybody, it's Yo Taylor back here at the Style Table in my style with my Style Mondays. It's my new show. I'm so excited. Today is a special show because I have a great friend and sister friend. And this is Mrs. Fran Brown. She's the creator of Fort Washington Kids Initiative. She is a professional woman, wife, and mother on fire to help children and young people channel their self confidence and express their voice in positive ways with fun and engaging events that teaches them lifelong lessons. I've had the honor and privilege to be able to volunteer and participate in these events, and the results are just astounding. She is doing big things, and I just can't wait to see all the things she's going to do in the future. I'm so super proud to be in her circle. And we're going to start. I'm just going to let her tell you about how she got started. And we're going to talk about the events. So, Fran, welcome to the show.
Wow. Yo, that's impressive. Thank you so much. I am truly honored to be on the show. I am truly honored. And I've been waiting so long to speak about this. So I'm excited.
So, we're going to jump right in. I want to know, we know you're on fire for it, but what was the catalyst that just said, I'm doing this? I'm just going to create something myself. I'm tired of waiting for the different people and organizations to do things that how I want them done and how I feel like they should go. And so you decided to create your own deal.
Yes, so I've been sitting on this for a long time now. My husband actually got tired of me talking about it. And then I got to a point where I was tired of talking about it. But I'm a mom of two. But I was a little girl once. And it just seems to me that there were so many things that could have been put into me or that were missed, not because my grandparents didn't want to do it. But, we understand now that children are different, that we have all different types of personalities. So when you can breathe life into these kids and have patience and give them confidence and just pour into them, the community is better for it. So really, I would say that the catalyst for this is how I felt as a little girl and what I wanted to make sure my daughter did not feel or my son did not feel.
Mm.
Yep.
Well, being also a little girl, I having confidence and having that start early. Um, as I've said this before many times, I didn't really find my footing and my self confidence until I was in my 40s. And so, not that my parents didn't want to, but they were just busy. They were just working and, grinding, trying to, take care of the basics.
Mhm.
And to have an organization or have an initiative to help uh, just help work with young kids and help them start establishing that early sets the stage for a lot of positive things. You wonder, how do people like this, how do like these superstars, who are these vice presidents of how do women and kids end up at that level? And sometimes it's just reminding them and building them up from the time they're little.
Right, exactly. So, there are all sorts of platforms you can go through. You can get your LLC, you can become a nonprofit, you can have all sorts of backgrounds for this. That, I'm still working on, but I didn't want to wait anymore. I had seen enough from the community, from the kids, and not all of them need certain things, but all of them deserve to be lifted up. Every single child. So I didn't want to wait, and I also wanted to bring the community with me. A lot of times you see on these different platforms, Facebook, whatever, you see a lot of complaining, or a lot of people are scared, older people. But if we, like I said, if you breathe life into the kids, if we stop that part and start talking about, well, what do we do? How do we assist? How do we help parents along? Because that's the missing part, the community part. We've stepped away from that. And when I was growing up, you knew who lived next door to you, across the street, the Johnsons, the Barrys, whatever. You had a sense of community. And now you don't know anyone. Parents are busy, they're working all sorts of hours. Kids are in school 8 hours a day. So I wanted to bridge the gap between community and our children.
Because it really does take a village. It takes all of us to get involved. And like you said, it's easy. I'm a grandmother. It's easy to sit back and go, oh, those kids,
Hmm.
this and that. And we fuss and we want to blame everything on the teachers. We want to blame everything on the parents. How about as a community, we all get together and take responsibility for uplifting the kids in our community.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's where I am. And I would love to transition right into that, after my retirement. That's where I want to stay. That's where I am most passionate about.
And when she says passionate, I mean she is passionate. I want and if with everything else on top of that, she doesn't realize she's also an event planner because let's talk about your first event. There
Certain.
was supposed to be outdoors, and we were prepared to for a thunderstorm and hail, and it was just all crazy. But tell them what happened with your first event, Chapeau Blonde.
So what people don't know, I am a creator. My mind is constantly on creating, creating, creating. I can't even stop it. So my first event, well, let me go back. I went to the social platforms, and I had a call to action. I asked the community or whoever was reading it, can we have a meeting to talk about, to plan something for the kids? And I ended up having probably about 15, 20 people to join me on a meeting. They didn't know who I was, but they came. So what I noticed was that I needed to be the first person to do something so that they can understand what my mission was. So I came up with an idea of Chapeau Blonde for little girls ages 8 to 12. And Chapeau Blonde is French Creole for white hat. So I wanted to have the idea sparked big white floppy hats, dresses, because the kids, we've lost so much with COVID. There has not been a lot of opportunity for kids to dress up, be at events. We've been stuck in the house. The kids have been stuck in that house. So they've lost a lot of social skills. And they've lost a lot of opportunities where parents can say, oh, you look nice, lifting them up.
Yes.
So I came up with Chapeau Blonde, and it was absolutely, it surpassed my expectations. The community just grabbed onto it. There was a call to action to have people to either direct donate with supplies, volunteer their time, and the community showed out. They really did. They showed out. So the little girls event, there were hats. I had speakers. I had a young lady that was entering college, a young lady who had finished college, because kids look up to something they can relate to, people they can relate to. So just older people just telling them stuff or speaking at them all the time, they miss it. But if you have a younger person to tell a story or give them information, they catch on to it. So I had speakers, I had food for the kids. I I had food for the parents, and we had a dance instructor. It was an amazing day. It was an amazing day.
The weather was, I mean, you couldn't have special ordered better weather. I mean, after all of everything that we were expecting, I just think God appreciates you. And he said, this is a beautiful thing the community's doing. And I'm going to do my part in making sure that the weather for us older participants, the temperature was mild. The girls look so beautiful in their hats. I mean, of course, at the style table, love that. I love to see girls dressed up, and you could tell how they were walking around. I think how you show up matters. And when you
Mhm.
feel confident and you feel like you look good, it translates. And why not start while they're young? Why not
Exactly.
tell them you're beautiful, you're smart? You also told them, you listen, you're not only beautiful today in your lovely dress and your hat, but you're smart. And all of that together is the 1-2 punch that when they go out, they enter like high school and college, they can really take these lifelong long lessons and carry them on through life.
Exactly. And not only did the little girls come dressed, but the mothers did too. They
Yeah.
fully bought into it. And we started it. The beginning of the program is just letting the parents know we have to stick together. The kids have lost a lot. We need to share our resources, our information, and lift our kids up. The kids, when they see themselves in that light, when they see that, they see themselves in a different light. You're not just on the playground anymore. You can be anywhere, anywhere. And that's what I wanted them to feel. I wanted them to understand that the parents were there backing them. We were with them. I wanted them to understand that it was important. And that's why the parents must be there, because the kids see the parents there. It must be important. And you couldn't go wrong with that. There was nothing went wrong with that. It was beautiful.
And at the style table, listen, yes, moms, you all came in, you looked fabulous, you looked good, you were all about it, you were engaging each other. It was a beautiful, beautiful sight. It was all these beautiful parents and aunts or grandmothers who were there to support the girls. It was fantastic. And even your speakers, they came dressed. Everybody came
Yes.
dressed to show that there is something, it's worth fixing yourself up for. You'll feel good and you look good. And the energy was all positive. It was great.
It was. And we had some awesome subjects too. Journaling, um, how you feel about being in school, emotions. We had fitness and health. We implemented all of that wrapped around fun. And that was my goal, because it had to be engaging for that age range.
Also, let's go. Okay, because this woman, when I say she's on fire, she did that in June. So last month. So just a couple months later, she says, well, it has to be something for the guys. It has to be something for the boys. In comes ties and knots. So
Mhm.
let's talk about what you did for the boys.
Same thing. So with ties and knots, again, the age range was from 7 to 12. And what I knew is that I could not bring in the female speakers. The boys needed to see men. They needed to see men engaging them. They needed to see how important they were. They needed to see themselves looking good. So the men came dressed with their suit and ties. The young men came dressed with their suit and ties. The caterer came dressed in his suit and tie. The volunteers came dressed in their suit and tie. So, again, I say that because we've missed so much, the little boys haven't seen, they have not seen what good role model looks like. They have, many of them have, but again, we need the wraparound care from the community. We need the community to wrap around them and say, not only do you have this coming out of your home, but you also have this when you step out of your home. We are here for you. We are watching you. We're holding you accountable, and we have expectations for you. So that one was, what did we talk about? It was we talked about travel. We talked about music. We talked about why do we respect people and why do we respect ourselves? We learned how to tie a necktie. Um, and again, my volunteers, the donations, they came in twofold. I don't know how to say thank you, because it was just an amazing experience to see people just want to be a part of this. And I'm going to keep going as long as the community has my back. I'm going to keep going.
It was, I was just checking them in my bow tie top, by the way. Because I wanted to participate too.
Mhm.
But it was just fantastic. The boys were dressed up in their jackets, some of them, in their button downs. They got their headshots, so they looked like, they looked really proud to walk in like that. And I mean, they are just, and to be so young, 7 to 12, and they were all. It was very interactive, and they really appreciated. The parents appreciated. All the parents showed up, and that's an important thing.
It really is. And not only that, with that age range, a lot of times you don't want to talk at them, like I said, but for that age range, it wasn't about content so much. It was about what they saw and what they were able to take away, whether it's a little bit or a lot. A part of that, my hope, my dream is that stayed with them. And
Mhm.
for them to know they actually do have support outside of the home, outside of their family, and that the community just, like I said, wraps around them. Yeah,
And like I always say, is how you set the stage is how the scene will be played. So if the stage is set where everybody's dressed for their part to support these young boys, then they'll, when they get older, they'll say, I remember being a part of something like this. Maybe I too can create something like this. Let me get involved and help others. And maybe when they're teenagers, they might want to come back and volunteer for a program like this because they've learned and seen and had that experience and came away with something positive.
exactly. And the more the merrier. The support, if I get supported heavily, I have more kids, and that's my goal. Like I said, I'm going to keep going until I can get more and more kids, and the just giving them the breath of life in them. Yep.
So now, and I know just because I follow you on Facebook, and people are like, all right, it was for 7 to 12. What about my child? My child. What about the teenagers? They're getting ready to start working. They've got interviews to do, and college interviews, and
Right.
how they show up matters. So you do have an up and coming event, right?
I do have an up and coming event. This is a work ethic workshop.
Ooh.
So, work ethic is very important. And if I'm reaching out to the younger kids, my goal is to have those kids that are going into the summer work programs on up. And it's so important that they practice these things now. We're not looking or expecting them to be perfect in every way, but if you have someone to show them the way, then aren't they better off for it as they go into the work world of their choice? They're ready. They're ready out the gate. But we have to step in again as the community, assisting the parents. We have to step in and give them the tools, give them the information, whether they want to take it or not, hand it to them and then let them flourish. So having a work ethic workshop is just that. Giving them information on stuff, dressing neatly for work, showing up on time, basic stuff.
Right.
Where you will be so surprised, some of these kids are not getting the basic stuff. So,
I can relate. My first job was with TJ Maxx. Okay, so I didn't have any of that. So first off, it was a miracle that I got the job. Secondly, I spent all my time, of course, shopping for myself, hiding clothes. So I really wasn't, the work ethic wasn't there because it was all about me and what I needed. And I was late almost every day. So I was fired in 30 days. I had some cute clothes, but nevertheless, I, what if I had just, I didn't respect the fact that I needed to be there on time. I didn't respect the fact that I needed to do what they asked me to do and not do what I wanted to do. And again, it's just because, I was just immature and I didn't really have any guidance in terms of that type of work ethic. It was my very first job. But man, if I would have had that, who knows?
Right. And you would think a lot of stuff is self-explanatory, but again, as adult to child, we have to put ourselves in their shoes and like we didn't know that stuff. So why should we assume that they do? I know that things have changed around the work world, and I get that, but I want to hit on the core stuff that will never change.
Right.
Being on time will never change. And what it looks like when you're not will never change. How you dress, how you speak, and some of the etiquette of work, not having your phone out when you're working, being able to assist a customer, that stuff will never change. So let's get to that first. There's so many different avenues that you can go into work ethic, but I want to at least touch on the basic stuff and assist our community, assist the kids, assist the parents.
Yeah, because so many of us, you go through a drive-through or you go somewhere and the young person, you're sitting there like, oh, these young people, they just have no respect. They're just like, what do you want? They don't know because they don't know how important it is and how it's really viewed because they just know what they're feeling at that moment.
Right.
And we have to remember, it's not that teenagers aren't smart and bright and that they don't know. It's just that you still need some kind of guidance and respect for who's hired you. So many times, I don't know about anyone else, but I've gone through the mall and somebody's being interviewed or they walk up and they go, are you hiring? And they're dressed like, they're not even dressed in a way that would say, hire me.
Right.
So they don't, sometimes those first impressions make a difference. And if they knew that, maybe they'd say, okay, I know I need a job, but maybe when I walk in and I go and even ask for, are you hiring? Are you, to show up in a way that looks like you really want it. And you're going to represent something that's polished, but they don't, they're kids. They don't know they need something like this to help guide them. And parents are working. Parents are working. They're working 2 jobs. It's inflation. They're busy. So to have an opportunity to help your teenager out and have them come to a program like this, an event like this, I think is priceless.
I totally agree. And I'm really excited about getting started on this. Like I said, creativity is just flowing through my head. Sometimes it's too much. So I need people like you to help me narrow that down.
I will do anything for you. I love you. I just think this is such an important thing because how you show up and it sets a stage on how you show up and how you do anything is how you do everything. So you want to, I always say, you see sometimes, you see people walking around in clothes that, they're in their pajamas. It just says how you show up represents how people, the energy you show up in is the energy you're going to get back.
Right. And I don't want to I don't want to sound like, I know it all or anything like that. But what I don't want to do is for people to believe that I'm trying to change these kids into something else. No. Be who you are, but know how to be in certain surroundings, situations, functions, so that you are on top. You are your best self in those situations. So I just want to make that clear. No one is expecting children to be something that they're not, trying to take away who they are or their culture or anything like that. No, just be your best self for the situation that's given. That's what I want to give to them.
Boom. And on that note, we're going to finish this show up. And Fran is going to type in the comments at the end of the show of how you can get involved. So I can give you a link so you can contact her and find out how you can get involved and volunteer. It is a worthwhile venture to volunteer. It is so worth it. I've gotten so much out of it, and that's the reason why. What's next? What are we doing next?
And last thing, as far as that is concerned, the Fort Washington Kids Initiative, I wanted to make it really easy for people to volunteer. So there's so many different ways. If you don't have the time, no problem. If you want to send something in that I would need, or money donations or volunteering, I have it all. It's no long-term commitment, not a whole lot of meetings to tend to. It is something that you want to do as the community to lift your kids up, because again, they're going to grow up and you want your community to stay its best. So you're going to teach those kids that when they bring their friends in, when they come in, that they respect their own community.
And you guys, and watch the videos of the video clips of the events. Oh my gosh, the video just really captures what I can say. I can speak for myself. My personal experience was I actually cried during the second video with the ties and knots, because as a single mom raising my son, yes, there were so many times I could have taken him to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever. Oh, Chuck E. Cheese. But man, to having something to take my son to that was like this, an event which was so much more meaningful, and the boys loved it. Man, I wish that there was something like that when I was raising my son to help. Yes.
More to come. More to come.
We can't wait. All right, you guys, you know where to find me, Yo Taylor at the Style Table, on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook at the Style Table LLC. You can watch this video, the replay of this, on YouTube, my Facebook page at the Style Table LLC, Instagram, everywhere. So follow us. Follow me, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, and like my page. So see you next Monday at 7 p.m. for more My Style Mondays with At the Style Table. Bye.